defense, and really, in particular, Deshaun Wingate, when he was used as a rover to bother Oregon in the half court.
By the way, if this is the first time you've seen, oh, there's the steal by Keefe. We'll get back to that point in a minute. Keefe against Lucas. Lucas slipped. I hope he didn't hurt himself. Didn't. Loose ball. Williams with a putback. No. Lucas gets the rebound. The man who goes down on his britches gets back up and finds the ball. Brandon, he's on the run. Keefe leaps for the rebound. Last touch by Oregon.
Oh, big-time rebound that time by Adam Keefe. Oh, you saw his ability in the open court, and Keefe just couldn't convert, but comes right back to pick it off in traffic.
Out on top, this is Peter Dukes, along with Ken Ammon. Dukes, another player out of the Northwest playing for the Cardinal. Ammon, three-pointer, no. Look at Keefe in the steal. Terrell Brandon gets in the middle lane, wanting to go with a fast break, can't do it. Lucas down on the base. Got Fife? No. Leiden shoots over Keefe and scores. Oregon with the biggest lead of the day at 4. More pressure. Dukes to Ammon. Blahoff. They've got 3-on-1. Keefe. Yeah.
Finish. All right.
Good luck, Bob Fife, trying to stop that. Right back.
Don, one of the few times that Stanford's been able to attack the press, take it to the basket, and Keefe, obviously, when you can get him the ball, I mean, he knows what to do with it. Look for Stanford to do more of that.
It's like you said at the top of the game, get the ball to Keefe. Got a foul on Fife, and I believe that will be 3 on him.
An illegal screen that time. But John Munson's going to have to make a decision, and if it is on Fife, I believe it's his 3rd, and it is, so...
Now he's got to go either with Patterson or, yeah, it'll be Patterson again.
Now Don's looking down again, which is not a good sign. He likes to look down an awful lot when he's sitting on that bench. And so Fife sits, and Patterson at 7 feet comes back in the game.
Wingate back into the game. Ammon looks for Keefe, but boy, 3 ducks waiting for him.
Hey, Brandon's really not guarding anybody at the top.
No,
see, look at Terrell Brandon. He's just going to sag down, and they're allowing. Now, that jumper will be there. You got to make it. I mean, that's going to be available.
High percentage shot. Got to go with it. And we're tied again. 6 points now for Wingate. Just under 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Terrell Brandon down to Lucas. Leiden. Jordy tries to get Wingate up in the air. Patterson, and that's what's going to happen. Patterson just not a real confident player at this stage. He's a project, and Oregon admits it. But when you're 7 feet, you got to get him in there. Give him a shot. Ammon. And a Wingate. Dukes. Three-pointer.
No, that's why he's in there.
Yep. So Terrell Brandon will try to bring the Oregon Ducks within 2 or maybe tie. Again, another outside shot missed. Blahoff with a rebound. Dukes kicks it up court. Ammon looks for the lane, gets inside the paint, back over to Keefe. There's what you got to do, isn't it, though?
I like that extension that time. Peter Dukes looked to get the ball up the floor quickly. Ammon finished the play, and Don Munson's concerned because he knows now Stanford's trying to attack the press.
Leiden with it on the outside. Here comes Brandon. Three-pointer. Short. Well, I'll tell you, that three-pointer, you live by it or you die by it sometimes. Got a timeout here in Eugene with 3:43 remaining in the first half, and Stanford makes the first move of the day, leading by 5.
It's more than beautiful design and superb handling that have made Ford Taurus the standard by which other wagons are judged. It's every detail right down to safety features like available anti-lock brakes and a standard driver's airbag with your safety belts. Because we believe that everything we put into Taurus wagon should demonstrate our concern for everything you'll put into Taurus wagon.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
You guessed it, Jill. Trout on a stick. Like all our new entrees, it's frugal, filling,
And convenient, too.
bravo.
Do you ever wonder if airline executives actually eat the food they serve you?
Good time.
Not just croutons, Jill. Dipped in oil. Jumbo croutons. Takes up lots of room in salad, saving on costly lettuce.
I like it.
At Alaska Airlines, our top executives eat our food twice a week because we won't ever serve you a meal we wouldn't enjoy ourselves.
Girls like me are sometimes difficult to catch. We're always playing hard to get. We're always on the move. Secret to meeting us is phone affair. It's a live connection. It's the newest and easiest way to hook up with interesting people like me from all across America.
Call now. Make the live connection. 1-900-446-0008. Adults only.
Stanford with its biggest lead at 5, leading the Oregon Ducks with 3:43 remaining in the first half. Be sure to stay tuned for halftime, by the way, when Dan and I will be giving you this week's Norwegian Cruise Line Trivia Contest question. They're fun this year. I think you'll enjoy that throughout the Pac-10 season. Hammond with it to Peter Dukes. Down to the baseline. Wingate back into the game now. Oh, lost the handle.
Well, that's frustrating if you're a Stanford fan because they're really not putting any pressure on any of the perimeter people. They're only concerned with fronting and backing Adam Keefe. And when you make an inadvertent turnover like that, it hurts.
Brandon. Oh, Terrell.
Sweet. Get him for a charge, and he's saying count the basket.
It goes. He was trying to avoid the charge. Here it is.
Well, he shoots a running one-hander in the lane. Yeah, there was some contact. It looked like Ammon got over and got in front, but Brandon was just more concerned with counting the basket. Of course, the ball had left his hand. He already had it up and in, and then he made the contact. That's why they counted it.
It's Brandon's first foul, so no problem so far. And Ammon with it. Peter Dukes. Ammon. Look at that. 3 Ducks trying to.
Well, their guards. Mixon is so concerned with Keefe that Mixon's not guarding anybody on. See, that shot also will be there. Now Oregon's going to either have to change their defense now. Don Munson's thinking, I know it's turning right now in his mind. What do? We cannot stay in that defense if Stanford's going to knock down the outside shot.
And that lead is up to 6 for the Cardinal. Mixon will try a 3-pointer. No, short. Rebound Wingate. Talk about a leaper. Oh, my. Down to the right side. Ammon hit his last one. That'll be a foul over the back on Wingate. That'll be his second.
It's a good aggressive foul there by Deshaun Wingate. One coaches really do not mind taking because you are trying to get that offensive rebound.
Especially on a long rebound like that, too.
Now, that's a surprise. What a big difference, Donnie. Of course, Oregon relies heavily on the three-point shot, and Mixon has been shut out. And they cannot win the game when Mixon does not score.
That was the frustration Stanford went through the other night against Oregon State. There's the breakaway. Wingate. Let him go. Good hustle by the Cardinal.
Well, Wingate's been the star. He has been the star, not offensively, but his defense has really triggered the Cardinal.
He has 8 points. The senior is leading this senior-laden Stanford team. Leiden gives back to Mixon, still looking for his first tray. Leiden will try it. 3-pointer. No. Boy, it's cold. It's frigid. Lucas, though, with a good rebound. Senior tries to make a move against Vlahoff, knocked away by Keefe. And Wingate with another loose ball. Dukes, Keefe underneath.
Forget it.
Nice weight. Nice weight.
Timeout, maybe. Ducks need help because Stanford has put a huge run on them. I mean, a huge run.
Oh, it's about, what, 15 points? It was at 9 at the timeout. Brandon. Tough shot. Vlahoff with a rebound. Stanford coming right back at him again. Dukes to Vlahoff. Somebody's got to stop him. Wingate. He can hit it. Oh, Brandon comes up with it. He's got a 3-on-2, but Patterson on the left side puts it in himself. No charge.
Brandon, that was an unbelievable shot. I mean, he takes you back about 20. Nobody shoots running one-handers in the lane.
Back to the Fred Brown, Gus Williams days in the NBA.
Now, he's a talent, and he's only 5'10", 5'11". He's already got, I think, 14 first-half points.
And as you see, we're under a minute here in the first half. Wingate, Vlahoff has the jumper, lays it off to Keefe. Nice assist as he finds the red end underneath. Go from a high percentage shot to money in the bank.
Sensational pass and read that time by Andrew Vlahoff. And that's the one thing he really contributes to this basketball team. Not only his scoring, but he's a fine passer. And that time they fell asleep. They left Keefe alone. Can't do that.
For Don Munson, he now has 5 team fouls. That's the first foul on Patterson, by the way. Remember Don back in the days of Cheney High School, Pasco High School in the state of Washington. They went to Michigan State under Judd Heathcote. Then a head coaching job at Idaho, and finally here. Shot missed by Keefe. Plenty of time. Shot clock dead, of course, as Mixon brings the ball up court. Leiden. Kenny Hicks into the game defending him. They lose it. Vlahoff, they've got time. Still 13 seconds.
Not too quick.
Hicks will take the shot. A little early, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was early. See, that shot, ill-advised. Can't do that. You need to hold the ball, run for the last shot. Yeah, Hicks is saying my fault, but need to hold on.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, well, matter of fact, pick
You're
it
right,
up.
Kenny. Brandon. Down to the baseline. 3 seconds. He stepped on the baseline.
Really,
10.
Down both teams making a lot of mistakes here. I think if you're Stanford, just inbound the ball. Now, see, it's a problem if you don't touch it. Well, he did. And he's...
Oh, look at that. Almost.
Don't listen to me. Go ahead and try to score.
Well, you pick up unnecessary fouls. I'll tell you, Don Munson is mad. Took the ball and two-handed it. Finally gives it to the referee, and they'll go in and talk about it. We're at halftime, and we'll have more for you coming up. Stanford leading 33-23. Today's Pac-10 Conference game is being brought to you by the Ford Motor Company and by Norwegian Cruise Line.
What truck eats the import's lunch in off-road racing year after year?
Ford Trucks, the best never rest.
What truck offers you more electronic fuel-injected engines, push-button four-wheel drive, and 4-liter V6 power? Technology the imports can't match. Ford Ranger, the truck that also eats the import's lunch in sales year after year. More people are driving the best-built, best-selling American trucks than ever before.
Hey, I know plumbing. I'm the one that connected these pipes. I know every inch of this sink, and I know when I'm stuck.
Well, Jerry, they don't make that setup anymore.
What?
But you can do it even better with the parts I've got here, and they'll last you a lot longer, too.
Yeah, I know every inch of this sink. But now, I know a little better.
You can do it with True Value Hardware stores.
The legend of Bigfoot is the tale of a noble giant, with the courage of a grizzly and the wisdom of a great horned owl. Many moons have passed since we walked with Bigfoot. Legend says he now walks with a distant tribe, the Hendersons.
Harry and the Hendersons, a new comedy of enormous proportions.
Premieres January 12th on Fox.
Vacation in Sun Valley, Idaho. A vacation package that includes 4 nights lodging and 3 days of skiing at Idaho's premier ski area, Elkhorn Resort, plus $100 spending money. Listen to win one of 9 Dream Ski vacations every Friday morning between 7 and 8 a.m. on FM 98.3 The Key. You could win your very own Dream Ski vacation package to Elkhorn Resort in Sun Valley, Idaho. Enter at one of these locations. Then listen to FM 98.3 and ski with The Key.
The biggest lead comes at halftime as Stanford leads by 10. Let's take a look at these two fine schools. And first up, Stanford University.
First chance at bingo this afternoon. If you get it, bingo, yell it out.
A university enhances the quality of the lives it touches. At Stanford University Medical Center, quality of life is a baseline value. From emergency medicine to life-saving surgery to the innovative techniques that begin in the lab. As Stanford celebrates its centennial this year, it renews its commitment to serving life from day one, not only the life of the mind, but of the body and the soul as well. I'm Tom Brokaw.
The University of Oregon is the home of chemists, historians, and athletes, physicists, dancers, and marine biologists, artists, musicians, statisticians, botanists, and astronomers. And they all have one thing in common. They want to teach you a thing or two. The University of Oregon.
Weekly throughout the season, National Car Rental presents the National Car Rental Pac-10 Player of the Week. This week's honoree is Oregon guard Terrell Brandon. The 6-foot junior led the Ducks to a pair of victories over Western Michigan and rival Oregon State. Brandon totaled 63 points, including 30 against Oregon State's Beavers, giving Oregon its first victory over its rival in 2 seasons. This is the second time this year that Terrell Brandon has been selected the National Car Rental's Pac-10 Player of the Week.
Please pay attention. For a quick escape from the airport, avoid long lines and proceed to the nearest exit. Insert your national card into the smart key machine. Select your car. And frequent flyer program. Within seconds, your completed rental agreement and car keys will appear. Then proceed directly to your car. National Smart Key. Faster to use than it is to explain.
Don Poyer along with Dan Belwamany here at MacArthur Court, seating better than 10,000 people here on this Sunday afternoon as Stanford has come in to take on the Oregon Ducks. Right now it's going the Cardinal way, and we'll return here at halftime in just a moment.
Hey, you got him to the free throw line. That's okay.
5, 6, 7, and come on, you can do it. 6, 7. Again, 6, 7, 8.
After making it on Broadway, some of the finest entertainers around go off-Broadway. They appear on the pleasure ships of Norwegian Cruise Line. No other cruise line offers such entertainment. Norwegian Cruise Line, the best vacation you've ever had. Plus,
You can do it with True Value.
Time for a plumber? You bet. Time for a Master Plumber faucet from True Value. They're all easy to install, made to last, and backed by a 10-year limited warranty. So update and renovate your kitchen and bathroom with a new Master Plumber faucet. See the wide selection exclusively at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Raycom Sports, your source for great sports action. Coast to coast, the best games are on Raycom.
Streaking across the galaxy, an alien life form prepares to invade Earth.
Be on the lookout for this hideous-looking space creature.
His first step, control of all television.
You have a lunatic on your hands here.
Then he'll capture the hearts and minds of children and adults everywhere. Now, invading a TV near you.
6:30 weeknights on Fox 53 and 66.
A 10-point lead for Stanford over Oregon up here in the Willamette Valley. Don Poyer along with Dan Belwamany. Good to have you with us this afternoon. As a matter of fact, I think of Arizona State when I look at Stanford because of the game we saw yesterday where they were able to establish Isaac Austin inside with a big threat and the outside shooting of Terrence Wheeler. Something close to that with Stanford with not only Keefe and Vlahoff, but then the outside shooting of Ammon and company.
Well, I think Mike Montgomery had a purpose in this game. He said, we've got to get the ball to Adam Keefe because good things seem to happen when we do. And they couldn't for the first 10 minutes of the game. And you really credit the Oregon defense. They played front and back and they caused some problems. Vlahoff said had some easy shots, but he couldn't put them in. Then Ammon made an outside shot. Deshaun Wingate, who I thought really was the player of the first half for Stanford defensively and offensively, really made Oregon play a little little more honest. And in the last 10 minutes of the first half, Adam Keefe really took the game over and scored a lot of points.
On the other end of the court for Oregon, boy, the cupboard was bare in terms of coming up with the outside shooting, which they seem to rely on.
Well, Oregon cannot win if Mixon continues to go through the shooting slump that he's had in the first half. And you really have to give Stanford a lot of credit in the sense that they doubled up and they came after him and they forced Mixon to miss some outside shots. Terrell Brandon, terrific first half. Mixon 0 points. So that tells the story, and Don Munson has to be concerned. He has to be disappointed because I don't think his club played up to their capabilities in the first half.
Keefe, by the way, with 10 points, Brandon with 14, but again, those were outside. One other quick note, Lucas, been a quiet figure so far other than one sky rebound.
Well, we said at the top of the show that Richard Lucas had a tough job because not only does he have to defend Adam Keefe, he also has to rebound against Vlahoff, and he's done a respectable job. He's not a big scorer, but the other big guys, Fife, Patterson has come in and really not give Oregon much. So no big people inside have been able to take the pressure off Don. Brandon's made shots, I think, that were degree of difficulty were 10s in the open court. The defense of the Cardinal, Mike Montgomery, has to be pleased with in the first half.
A fairly quiet afternoon in college basketball, but there were a couple of other games we would like to tell you about. Here, second-ranked Arkansas getting the victory over Houston.
Now, Arkansas, a terrific team, and I think the only club that's got a shot to beat Vegas, and they play him in about 25 days. And, of course, Kenny Anderson and Georgia Tech, whenever Anderson has the ball, he's a threat. Wake Forest has really improved this year also, but Georgia Tech, a good club.
And in our game, a 10-point lead for Stanford as they lead Oregon 33-23. We pause now for these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
Only one show could possibly bring Milli Vanilli out of retirement.
Let's get busy.
Don't miss this week's In Living Color, Sunday on Fox.
I need a diet that can shift gears when I do.
Try the new Personal Choice program from Weight Watchers. It's our easiest program ever.
My life's so crazy. I need a diet that thinks for me.
Personal Choice can do that too. It's even easier to follow. So call Weight Watchers today and try our exciting new program.
Join Weight Watchers now for only $18. That's half price. Weight Watchers works. Call today.
Tonight, Larry, I'm adopted. Chris thinks he's discovered his original roots.
I look nice and plain, don't I? Like a sexy young Amish lad.
But old ties are hard to break.
What are you doing here?
We've come to take you home, you idiot.
Get a life. Then Marcy's getting hitched.
You'll have your wedding in God's cathedral. Our backyard.
Your backyard is Buck's toilet.
No, your backyard is Buck's toilet.
It'll be an affair to remember.
Get your wedding pretzel!
Married with Children after Get a Life. All new episodes tonight.
Oregon Ducks looking for a sweep of the Bay Area schools for the first time since '87 up here in hot water right now as they're down by 10 at intermission. Wingate, the man you talked about, he had 8 points in the first half, really the key man as far as defense, rebounding, and offense.
Yeah, Deshaun really turned defense into offense with his ability to get into the passing lanes and create steals, and when he has it in the open court, of course at 6'7.5" and a good jumper, he finished that play nicely. And the story for the Ducks in the first half, as it always is Terrell Brandon, and he's such a fantastic athlete. He can rebound the ball, he can move in the open court, and what I like about him, he can take these little running one-handers off the left foot and convert. He did that 2 or 3 times in the first half, so he'll need to do a lot of that in the second half if Oregon's going to come back.
Here are the halftime stats brought to you by Gillette Right Guard. And again, good shooting by Stanford, 54%.
Well, they've had good shots. Adam Keefe got involved and made 3 or 4 dunks. Oregon's, out of their 27 shots, how many have been inside, Don? Very, very few. So hard to beat anybody when you're shooting all perimeter jumpers. And then you take a look at the free throws. That's the only thing Stanford has not done well. They were 1 out of 5.
And Oregon 0 for 11 from the three-point line in the first half. Ouch, that hurts. We'll return for the second half and much more right after this. 10-point lead, Stanford.
Of all the world's car lines sold in this country, J.D. Power & Associates ranks only one American among the 10 most trouble-free. Buick. Before you put a new car in your garage, make sure it has one of these on the hood. The 1991 Buick Regal sedan. It's powerful V6 engine gets an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon on the highway. And that's making the imports nervous.
Raycom Sports, your source for great sports action. Coast to coast, the best games are on Raycom.
Here at MacArthur Court, boy, outside it is gray and it is still cold. The aftermath of that horrible cold snap that came down the entire Northwest and much of the West Coast, for that matter. Got something for you to think about. And now it's time for this week's Norwegian Cruise Line Pac-10 Trivia Contest. Now, other than UCLA, 3 other Pac-10 teams have been NCAA basketball champions. Name the teams and the years. Now, write your answer on a postcard and mail it to Raycom Pac-10 Trivia, Post Office Box 33367, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28233. A winner will be drawn at random from all correct answers received by January 11th and will be awarded an exciting cruise for 2 on Norwegian Cruise Line, the Athlete's Fleet. A reminder, you must be 18 or older to be eligible to win a cruise. We'll be announcing the name of our lucky winners and the correct answers to the Norwegian Cruise Line Trivia Contest each week at halftime, so be sure to join us. Good way to get away from the cold weather up here in Oregon. Second half coming up here in Eugene as Stanford enjoys a 10-point margin.
To those import owners who said they would drive an American luxury car when they make one good enough, here's one that's much, much more than good enough. Test drive the 1991 Buick Park Avenue and see how good the great American beauty truly is. Park Avenue from Buick, the new symbol for quality in America and beyond.
Raycom Sports, your source for great sports action. Coast to coast, the best games are on Raycom.
Today's Pac-10 Conference game is being brought to you by Infinity, by True Value Hardware, and by Buick. Don Poyer and Dan Belwamany with the leading scores. Now, first of all, Stanford, as we said, 10 points and no fouls for the big guy. That's good.
Yeah, that's important. And Keith picked up those 10 points late in the first half and had a run. Wingate, of course, contributed 8. Kenny Ammon and Vlahoff both with 5 apiece.
Ammon later in the half. Looking at Oregon, Brandon, boy, not much balance though, huh?
No, and the one person that's really missing there is Mixon. He has 0 in the first half. And as a team, Oregon is 0 for 11 from the three-point range. And this is a team that normally shoots 37, 38% from three-point land. So that's an area they'll have to improve on.
Time to play basketball. And Mr. Mixon is the man of the hour. He needs to heat things up, as Dan put it. They are down by 10. Oregon trailing 33-23 as we start the second 20 minutes.
And you know Stanford's going to stay in the same defense. They're going to have Deshaun Wingate just rove around. He's starting at the foul line, so he will not guard Jordan, number 5, who's starting the game, the freshman from West Covina.
He's back in the game.
Just take a look at Deshaun Wingate and just kind of follow him around. Defensively, number 34, he's going to try to double up the guards.
Jordan again goes through. Back to Brandon. Patrick with him. Pass over to Fife on the lob jam.
That's a pretty good way to start.
Look left, throw right. Nice play by Brandon.
Don Munson made an adjustment at halftime. He said, okay, if they're going to play us that way, we need to try to go inside and use our guards more as passers, not shooters.
Well, at Stanford was overplaying so much defensively in the first half, trying to go against the grain. Wingate, 8 in the first half, give him 10 now. And they're back to that lead of 10 for the Cardinal from Palo Alto. Jordan all alone. He's getting lonesome out there, I'll tell you.
That shot has been there, Don, as you know, the whole ball game, and he has not really been able to put it down. Leiden could not make it, and Oregon will elect to stay and pack it in and give up the outside shot.
Lucas, good rebound effort. Drags Keefe along with him, who's holding on equally as tight. It'll stay on that end of the court.
Hammond with a good look at it, no one guarding him, and Adam Keefe and Lucas competing for this rebound.
That's 2 of the best rebounders in the Pac-10 going for the same ball.
Well, you like Hammond's tenacity. I mean, it doesn't bother him that he's missed 4 or 5 shots. He's still going to get it up there.
Talk about tenacity. How about Andrew Vlahoff? 2, 3 rebounds and finally puts it back in. When you got biceps like that, you can do it. 7 points for Andrew.
That's good news, really, for Mike Montgomery, because Vlahoff has been playing hurt. He's been sick. And Stanford not the same team when Vlahoff is not at peak efficiency. And of course, we said it earlier, a homecoming for Andrew Vlahoff. He was an exchange student and played a year here at South Eugene, took him to the state championship. So Andy Vlahoff has a lot of friends here, and he really wants to play well when he comes to Eugene.
That foul was on Adam Keefe, his first. Lucas, take the jumper. Down to the baseline, Jordan. He'll shoot it again over Wingate. Boy, he's shooting 32% coming into the weekend, that being Jordan. Wingate. Back to Keefe. Boy, he looked at it. Hammond. Patrick. Inside. Out. It won't be a three-pointer.
Oh, what ball movement by the Cardinal. That's a clinic on how to play the zone. Inside to out. Kick it in and out. Good ball movement. And Hammond puts it home. And I think Don Munson's going to have to get the freshman Jordan out of the game if he's not going to make any shots. I mean, it's tough when you're sitting there and the youngster can't get the ball down when people are not guarding him. Now what do? You keep him in there or you make a switch?
It's very clear that the defense and the calculations Stanford came up with are working. Brandon at least able to get the shot up and away. The foul on John Patrick as he was defending. Jordy Leiden coming back into the game for Clyde Jordan. So we'll go from one freshman to the other one. This one from Beaverton.
And Don, you really have to feel for the freshman Jordan, because you need to get some experience and you want to put down some shots, but it's difficult when you just can't get them down. Now, Leiden's going to have the same problem because they're not going to guard him either until he makes a few shots.
And both Leiden and Jordan had 2 points each in the first half. And Brandon, in the meantime, trying to keep things going for the Ducks. Last year, he had 21 against the Cardinal, and then 14 in the second game.
See if Oregon comes with their press. I think they're going to have to initiate some pressure to try to force some turnovers.
Yeah, good call, Dan. You're right.
Now
Ooh, look out. He straddled the line. Got it away, though, to Patrick. Left hand. And the foul on Leiden as Patrick hit the gas.
Well, I like the attack by the Cardinal. They're not playing conservative with the lead. Patrick with the left hand, which is very nice for youngsters watching the game. Even though he's a right-hander, he was moving to his left, and he utilized the left hand and drew the foul.
John Patrick on the line, a senior, American Studies major. You look at the majors of these students, student athletes at Stanford, and it's always impressive. American Studies, Psychology, Quantitative Economics. And to quantify that, 1 for 2. 40-27. Stanford on top. They led by 10 at halftime, 17.5 minutes remaining, second half. Mixon will try it again. Way off this time. Boy, the confidence level is low.
And Mixon, of course, a shooter that has not had many shots, and when he's not putting them down, he's over anxious every time he gets the basketball.
Hammond. And back to Patrick to settle things down.
Now, Don, if Stanford goes inside to out, that is throw the ball to the big guys, or they're going to lob. And it wasn't high enough.
Yep.
Just wasn't high enough.
Well, and I think Blahoff kind of telecast that pass. Oh, off the foot of Brandon. Fife there, however. 20, check that. 40, 27. Stanford on top. Just under 17 minutes remaining.
And Leiden has to still look to shoot the ball, even though he's not being guarded. Number 13 will be open.
Stanford literally giving away any outside stuff, except to that man. Brandon struggling too now here in the second half.
Stanford, they're controlling the boards, and that shot is there.
Three-pointer. Bury it.
Anytime you want it, it's open.
Biggest lead. Now it's 16. 43-27. There's your time remaining. Fife. Oregon needs some scoring. Oh, so badly right now. What do we call it? Yep, offense on Mixon. Total frustration for Kevin Mixon right now.
And good team defense by Stanford, and they're accomplishing exactly how they drew it up in the game plan. You cannot allow Mixon and Brandon to get 45 points, as Don Munson has to be frustrated, along with Kevin Mixon.
Mixon was 6 of 13 in three-point field goal attempts against California, so you know he can do it. A 10-4 run for Stanford here since intermission.
Good ball movement and execution in the half court, and they have to get on Ammon.
Wingate has the shot. He can certainly outlead Mixon. Oh, Lucas, great hustle. Here comes Brandon. They got the 2-on-1. Patrick in the middle for Stanford. Back over to Lucas. The finger roll, and it goes. Patrick goes down hard.
Nice dish, though, wasn't it, by Brandon?
That
brought it into traffic and just gave it up.
Lovely. And it gets the crowd off their feet, or off their seats anyway. I don't know if they're off their feet yet. Too big a lead. 43-29. Stanford. 15 minutes remaining.
And that may have been one of the few second half open court baskets. And you need some easy ones to win. And you can't set up in a half court every time down the floor.
Hammond again for three. Yeah.
Switch the defense. Pick him up man to man. I mean, Hammond is just lighting it up.
17-point lead, 46-29. Stanford with a lead. Leiden takes the shot. No, but a foul on the big one. Adam Keefe. It'll be his second. You never like to see fouls on three-point attempts.
Well, you don't now, because now you get 3 shots,
yeah,
which makes sense. And Kenny Hammond, and Leiden, rather, with a long jumper, and Adam Keefe did not feel that he made much contact, but the new rule this year, which is a logical rule, if you're attempting a three-point shot and you get fouled, you should get 3 attempts.
My correction, 3 fouls on Keefe. So what do? Get the ball to Fife? Try to draw a foul against Keefe?
Well, normally if you have the lead, yes, but I don't know if you have, I don't think you have that luxury when you're behind, because behind you have to go ahead and try to score. Now, if Fife is available and Keefe is guarding him, certainly you look for him. But the Ducks can't waste time coming down the floor and get empty opportunities. They need to score and attack.
Timeout on the courts. Mike Montgomery still holding a healthy lead. We'll get back to you right after this.
In the last 20 years, Road & Track has named the 10 best cars in the world only 6 times. This time, they selected a performance luxury sedan with the world's first full active suspension system, the Infiniti Q45. To find out why, do what they did. Take a long, hard test drive.
Raycom Sports, your source for great sports action. Coast to coast, the best games are on Raycom.
our society, any grouping lapse can result in a mortifying loss of station. But with right guard sports stick, one gets maximum protection. Well, off to the foxes. Right guard sports stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
There's the Stanford lead. They led by 10 at halftime. This telecast is presented by the authority of the University of Oregon and is intended solely for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express prior written consent of the University of Oregon is prohibited. Don Poyer with Dan Belwamini this Sunday afternoon. 14:36 remaining in the game. 46-32 Stanford.
And Donnie switching to the defense by Oregon that time. They went straight man-to-man. And Stanford turns the ball over. So they're going to play Adam Keefe straight up now.
You got to feel for Kenny Ammon. Nobody near him, and he falls on the back. That's the 9th turnover on Stanford. Nixon. Ammon with him. Inside. Fight. Keep in mind, Keefe has 3 fouls. There's the shot by Brandon. Boy, can't buy it. There's Wingate with another rebound. Good job by Vlahoff keeping it alive.
Now see if they go right to Keefe. Now you got to take a look at him or inside. That's not bad either.
Vlahoff, high arching shot over the reach of Richard Lucas. Vlahoff with 9 so far this afternoon. Lydon goes to Mixon. He'll try it again. Can't find the hole. Good rebound by freshman Lydon. Baseline. Fife goes against Vlahoff, and they give him the bucket.
Good pass that time by Mixon to pass up the shot because he has not been shooting well this afternoon, which may be an understatement, has not scored.
Fife, who has 6 points, now comes up with a steal. Brandon, there, Oregon trying to get something going here. They need something exciting like a 3-pointer. Good effort by Lucas, but it goes off of Lydon. Stanford ball. They need a spark of some kind, and Don's trying to provide it. Don Munson.
And you have to give the guards a free hand because you might say Brandon shot it too quickly, but when you're down 14, if you've got a 3-point attempt and you're open, let it go.
And you're for averaging 26 a game. You know what to do with the ball, and so does Vlahoff. Nice pass, too, on the inside.
Well, you've got to like Stanford's shot selection in this game. How many points have they scored in the paint compared to Oregon?
Vlahoff with 11 points. Fife. Lucas goes through. Nixon still with it. Ammon trying to get in his face. Brandon looks for the hole. Not this time. Oh, we got the block. Willis McDuncan calling it on Wingate.
Close.
Yeah, real close.
That was very close. It's a question of whether Wingate did get his body and his arm, or was he moving? He may have been moving a little bit. Actually, a call that could have gone either way. Mike Montgomery not happy with it.
Mike now has 4 team fouls, 2 on Oregon, and that is the 3rd foul on Wingate.
So Wingate with 3, Keefe with 3.
Last touch by Stanford.
Now Lydon has to be careful now, Don, because he cannot move when he gets the basketball. Don't be running the baseline because you'll get a turnover, and he was smart.
Very good point. Lucas, been quiet so far, working hard against all that tall timber. But Stanford gets his own rebound and puts it up and in. Richard Lucas out of Anaheim, averaging 13.5 a game. He now has 7.
No reason why he shouldn't attack, because Keefe with 3 and also Wingate with 3.
Foul outside on Lydon. Evidently caught reaching in. That's a good point, Dan, is Lucas is such a strong and experienced player. Why not at least go in there and let him force the issue a little bit? He may draw that 4th foul on either Keefe or Wingate.
Well, especially if you draw it on Keefe. Now Mike Montgomery's got a big decision. I'm sure he'd get him out of the ball game, and maybe it would give Oregon a chance to come back. And, you know, they're not out of this game yet, even though they're down 14. They need to put a good concerted defensive effort in order to stop the Cardinal, because Stanford's been able to get great shots. High to low has always been there. See if they post up.
Peter Dukes takes the shot. It's short. Wingate knocking it up into the air. Vlahoff in the right place. Dukes, will he take another one? No. They'll get another 45 seconds.
No, they've dominated the glass.
Yes.
I mean, they've been able to keep the ball alive and give Stanford 2nd and 3rd efforts.
They out-rebounded Oregon by 5 in the first half. Keith can't get the English. Shortest man on the court gets the rebound. Foul number 4 on Keith. Terrell Brandon, the man with a rebound. There's your decision, Dan.
Well, I think you've got to get him out.
Yeah.
Here's the rebound. And Adam Keith just reaches in. A little touch foul. I mean, that's not a foul you really want to make. You got to get out of there. Don't let the official make that call.
Let's take a timeout. 11:26 remaining in the ball game. 50-36. Oregon trying to fight back.
On the road, the Infiniti Q45 becomes a living, breathing thing. You feel it work the wind and seize the road. Feel the embrace of leather and luxury. The rarity of
5 p.m. Mountain Time, 4 o'clock Pacific. In this one, it's Stanford 50, Oregon 36, with 11:12 remaining in the game. Biggest lead for Stanford has been 17 points. Right now, it stands at 14. Lydon will take it. There we go. They have needed a jumper to find net for some time.
And Lydon, nice to see the freshman get a basket there, and Lucas is going to pick up a foul, Don, but that's what Oregon has to do. They are not out of this game. There's still an eternity left, almost 11 minutes. They're down 12, and they have really shot the ball poorly. And beside that, Adam Keefe is not in the game. So when the star is sitting, it is an opportunity for Oregon now to play more straight man-to-man and take more chances defensively.
Wingate, he may rise to the occasion. Not that time. The rebound. Quick. Brandon, look at that. He's going against Dukes. Got the quicker advantage to him and goes to the left side and scores.
He had something, isn't
he, though? Yeah, Peter Dukes isn't exactly chopped liver.
He went by Dukes quickly. That could be almost backcourt. It is backcourt.
I think it is, yes. You saw Ammons straddle the line.
And don't go away yet. Timeout, Stanford, right now. Don't go away.
Mike Montgomery wants a timeout. There he is. Whoops. Timeout on the courts. The lead has been cut from 17 to 14 to 12 and now to 10.
From Gillette comes Sensor, the only razor that can sense and adjust to the individual needs of your face. Sensor blades are mounted on responsive springs to continuously sense and individually adjust to your face. The closest, safest, most comfortable. Gillette Sensor, together with the richness of foamy shave cream, for the best shave a man can get. Gillette, the best a man can get.
On the road, the Infiniti Q45 becomes a living, breathing thing. Feel it work the wind and seize the road. Feel the embrace of leather and luxury. The rarity of a 278 horsepower V8 engine that was born to run. And begin to understand why Road and Track has named it one of the 10 best cars in the world.
I was a hula dancer.
There's music.
We want to keep it on the edge and do what we want to go with what we feel.
There's dancing.
It's more hanging out and playing.
There's a new spirit in the nighttime.
Yeah, it's a showcase for anybody that's out there right now that's happening. You get everybody from rock and roll to rap.
Come join the crowd with Nia Peoples and the hot rhythm of the streets.
We want to come out and party and play.
The Party Machine.
Premieres January 7th on Fox.
I'm Don Poyer, along with Dan Belwamini in Eugene, Oregon, where Stanford at one time had a 17-point lead. Terrell Brandon with 18 points. Oh! And Mr. Lucas with 2 more on the assist from Terrell.
That's a pretty good out of bounds.
And the lead cut to 8. And the crowd back into the game, too, Dan.
Yeah, and what a timeout that time. Don Munson taking advantage of the fact that Mike Montgomery calls the timeout, comes back with the dunk. And the crowd, who I thought was worth at least 5 or 6 points, is coming to life.
Got a foul. It'll be on Jordy Lydon. The young freshman coming around to attempt to stop the senior, Andrew Vlahoff.
Well, Vlahoff's the man with Keefe on the bench, and he shows a good left hand here, taking it in traffic and drawing the foul.
I take it back. It's on Richard Lucas. And that is his second foul. 5 team fouls on each team with 9:54 remaining. And Vlahoff having a good day. Plenty of time left.
Now, I got to tell you, Don, it's got to be difficult shooting into that backboard up there because the fans here at MacArthur Court are right on top. Now, that's a tough free throw.
1 of 2. Ironically, Vlahoff was quoted in the paper today saying he loves it up here because the people are so friendly. Leiden. Fife with a rebound offensively. Little turnaround. Puts it up. He is fouled by Lang Meyer, who just came into the game.
Bob Fife this time with a big rebound in traffic. Good shot by Leiden. The three-pointer did not go, but Fife with the rebound over Wingate and makes a nice turn and a square up. Meyer with the foul, Fife with the basket. Oregon trying to come back, and Mike Montgomery trying to analyze when do I get Adam Keefe back in this game, and I'm sure the answer to that is about the 6-minute mark.
And Oregon with a 10-1 run and another key offensive rebound. Mixon, Brandon, he'll look at the three-pointer. No. Rebound, Meyer. One of the strongest players on this team physically. The man lives in the weight room.
And a pretty good player, actually. Meyer, this is a difficult spot to put him in, but the junior from Texas can score.
And he can play all 3 front court positions. Patrick's shot not there, not the man you really want to shoot. Here comes Brandon, perfect pass from Fife.
Timeout maybe again.
The lead's been cut to 6. Vlahoff gives to Patrick. Don Munson saying, come out and check them. Peter Dukes gives to Wingate. Vlahoff against Lucas. Good matchup. Wingate back to Vlahoff. 2-man game. Where's it going to go? Loose ball. Vlahoff gets it out. Shot clock still at 19. Dukes, no good. Lucas with the ball for the Ducks. Plenty of time remaining. 8.5 minutes. And Adam Keefe still sitting on the bench.
Are they making a run or what? I mean, come on.
Brandon, no! Lucas with the rebound.
Timeout, Stanford. Take one now. Got to take it.
Stanford is just standing at the end of the court. They can't believe what has happened. A 17-1 run against Mike Montgomery and the Cardinal.
Oh, they've really come to life. There's the shot inside, and of course, Lucas able to dominate the boards.
17-1. Adam Keefe has come back into the game along with Ammon. Kenny Ammon and Don Munson's team. 17-1. And in the amount of time they did it, too.
Don, you know, I mentioned the game was not over with 11 minutes and 30 seconds to go, and Stanford up by 14. Took Oregon 3 minutes to take the lead.
Keefe back in it. Knocked away. Gets his own rebound, however. Keefe with those 4 fouls.
And his first points of the second half.
Right, he had 10.
He's been on the bench, and Stanford, much different team, obviously, with Keefe on the bench.
Keefe now with 12. Mixon back to 5.
Now, Don, to answer your question, now you take it to Keefe. I think now you set up in a half court and let's get the ball inside, try to get him out of the game. Even if it takes 2 or 3 possessions to do that, let's go ahead and make him play some defense. The game is even now.
Yeah, you're not down by 15. Great point. Patrick goes to Vlahoff. Lob jam, Wingate. And the foul from behind. It'll be on Leiden.
Well, this has turned out to be quite a game, hasn't it?
Exciting game. What an effort by Oregon, and then Stanford answering the call.
That's a planned play all the way. Good lob, good pass. The pass is as important as the dunk, and Andrew Vlahoff put it right on the money.
Perfect. Wingate with 12. Vlahoff with a lovely assist. He is the man on this team. He's the leader. No three-point play, however. 17 fouls on Stanford, 6 on Oregon. That will certainly become a factor.
Now you need to bring it to Keith's side of the floor. Make him defend inside.
Here they come. Let's see who they post up against him. They've got Lucas in there. Keith facing him. Lucas from behind.
Charge.
Boom!
Charge. All the way.
And it was. Wingate goes down. Brandon still down.
Good position, I thought, that time. And let's hope Terrell Brandon is all right, because that was a big collision.
You could hear the thud from center court. Says he's all right.
Well, this is the pass and the feed. Wingate may have been a little bit late, too, but they're going to call it a charge. Here's the pass right down the slot. Wingate trying to move in. From that angle, it looked pretty good. Timeout by Oregon.
7:05 remaining in what has turned into an outstanding ball game. Stanford, after losing the lead, back on top by 3.
Give it to Lucas, especially when he's being defended by Keith. Oh, good shot there.
Short. Lucas right in the place you need to be. For the putback, got in front of Keith. 13 points for Lucas. Oregon back on top by 1.
Oh, had Keith on the baseline. I don't know if he saw him that time or just decided to bring it back out.
Stanford slowing it down a little bit, going back to the half-court game. Three-pointer, Ammon, no. Rebound, Mixon. That's 2 in a row for the guard for Oregon. 4:30 remaining in the game.
Now, I never thought you would say that Oregon's got a chance for a three-point lead here with the ball. I mean, they've been out of this game for a long time. Good steal. Lazy pass by the freshman that time. Leiden. Easy score in the transition by Kenny Ammon.
And that's what you learn. And that's what you've got to live with when you play freshmen right out of high school. And a lot of Pac-10 coaches are doing that this year. Bill Frieder, Lyd Nance, many others. And a foul on Oregon.
Away from the ball inside. It may have been an illegal screen and a shooting opportunity for the Cardinal.
Both teams in the bonus. In fact, that's 8 on Oregon, so 2 more, and then it's an automatic 2 shots. So Kenny Ammon goes to the line for Stanford. He's a senior. He's gone to that line many times in his career for Stanford and has faced that crowd behind the backboard many times.
Excellent free throw shooter. Rancho Santiago Junior College.
The psychology major. At better than 86% from the stripe. 4:03 remaining. Back to that 3-point lead for the Cardinal. Brandon with that mouthpiece, always half in and half out.
You know, it'd be a good time if you're an Oregon fan to have Mixon get a bucket. I mean, he has really played with no confidence. Now, if he can make one, which he still can't, it would have really lifted him.
Wrestling with Keith. Vlahoff, foul on him. Lucas will go to the line.
Well, Keith's really not trying to rebound very much, Don. He is trying to stay away from picking up that 5th foul, and he's playing tentative inside. Mixon, that's the way he has shot it all afternoon. And Keith, a little contact and no call, and then over the back comes Vlahoff with the foul.
Lucas, the hardest worker on this team. Team captain this year as well.
Well, he's been a relentless rebounder for the Ducks. At only 6'7", 6'7.5", he's had to take up a lot of the bulk in terms of rebounding the basketball. That's a lot of rebounds for a 6'7" man.
Yeah, going against 6'9". Some mighty strong people out there. That hurt. The lead remains at 3.
Now Stanford in the half court. Even though Oregon's in the zone and they're giving up outside shots, they want to utilize a little bit of the shot clock, but they cannot get ultra conservative. They need now to look, bring it to Keith's side of the floor. Turn it and bring it the other way.
Shot clock, 21, 20, 19. Wingate down to 13, 12 on the shot clock. Three-pointer. Nixon. No, Vlahoff back over to Hammond. They'll get another 45. Great effort by Andrew. Keith coming out as a release. Under 3 minutes.
And Don, I think Keith could play a little more aggressively now inside of 3. He has to make himself more available because when he touches the ball, he can create open opportunities for his teammates. That's good ball movement in the half court.
Still plenty of time. 21 seconds. Keith inside. Oh, what a move. What a move. He has 14 today.
Nice sequence that time by Stanford.
Actually, he's having a down day scoring. He's averaging 20 a contest. Fife leads at 5. Lydon was wide open underneath. Brandon comes up with a loose ball. Lead back down to 3. 2:18. Check that. 2:13 remaining.
Big play by Brandon just to keep him close.
Yeah.
Man-to-man now, switching it up. Go the Ducks.
Lucas goes against Keith, if you're wondering.
It's man-to-man. You bring it to Keith's side of the floor. If they're going to play him straight up with Lucas, you need to give Adam the ball if he can make himself available in there.
They've got Vlahoff this time on the side, and the foul, it'll be on Fife as Lucas came around to help on the double team, but Fife with the call. That'll be 9 team fouls on Oregon.
Now Stanford has power players inside, and that time with the body first, but verticality you would think with his hands straight up in the air. That's what Fife is concerned about as Vlahoff did the smart thing. He took it right up in traffic and did get the foul.
Now Stanford with that luxury of either option as you talked about. Keith on one side, Vlahoff on the other. Makes it tough when you want to double team their biggest threat inside.
Vlahoff's made some big shots. Of course, last year had an opportunity to win the game here. Stanford lost by 1, could not get the shot down, so he's looking to make up for it, and he's had a big afternoon.
Yeah, he was the man who attempted the final shot near the buzzer. The lead is extended to 5 with 1:48 remaining.
You like those guys as a coach, though, that want to take that final shot. Not a lot of players have the courage to go ahead and try to win it.
Lucas against Wingate, pops it out to Lydon.
Oh, he's been unbelievable. Who is this guy, Lydon?
He's a youngster. And is going to be around a long time. 1:27, 2-point lead, Cardinal.
Electing to play and not taking the timeout. And why not? Stanford's been successful against the man-to-man when they've been able to get the ball down low. So look for Vlahoff or Keith.
Coming up on a minute, Dan.
Shot clock now down to
13. Yeah.
Ooh, stay down.
And the foul on Brandon.
Yeah, defensively, Brandon just got caught up in the air that time.
4 on Terrell. Pretty much academic at this stage as Hammond will go back to the line, and he nailed his last couple.
Of course, that was the 10th team foul of the half, so automatic 2 shots for Hammond.
And he faces the Duck crowd and buries it. See if either team calls a timeout after this, if there's a point scored. We've got a long time without a timeout for these coaches to talk it over with the players. Won't happen. 19 points for Kenny Hammond. Under a minute. 4-point lead, Stanford. Lucas up. And he is fouled by Vlahoff.
Actually, a good foul by Vlahoff. Lucas, not a particularly good free throw shooter, but that was just an automatic inside for Richard Lucas. And there's the freshman making it happen. Jody Lydon with the pass. Vlahoff just took that foul to make sure that Lucas could not get it home. Now, he missed his last 2 free throws, Don, so critical for Oregon to get these 2 down and then try to establish some kind of full court pressure.
Fife was the man of the game against California with 3 key free throws to hold on and defeat California. Maybe it's Lucas' turn to cut that lead. He gets 1. The lead is 3. Don can't watch. He's been through this so many times in 32 years of coaching at the high school and college level.
I'm sure you'll see full court pressure. He couldn't get it in.
Wingate gets the rebound. 3-point lead.
Oh, now they need to look to take a foul because you don't want Stanford to run the clock all the way down. And here's a guy you want to take a look at the foul. If you're going to take some chances, either Wingate or Vlahoff, cannot let him pass it around.
Stanford ball.
Good timeout by Don Munson right now because I don't think his team was reacting to the fact that there's only 35 seconds left in this game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And again, we went a long time without either coach taking a timeout to strategize at all in what was a very, very interesting final 8 minutes here after that 17-1 run by Oregon.
Well, I think you take this philosophy a lot of times you're on the bench. Sometimes let your players play themselves out of it because many times when you take timeouts, it doesn't really effectively help your team. Sometimes it does. So the coach is electing to let them go ahead, go up and down. Plus the fact they had to take some early timeouts because both teams were making runs earlier in the game.
Yeah. And again, Stanford is they got a lot of seniors, a very experienced team, all 5 starters back this year. So they've been in the tight ones before. Lots of basketball coming up next Saturday here on Raycom Sports. First up, Oregon at Oregon State. That'll be up in Corvallis at 2 o'clock Pacific time. And then the first confrontation between the picks 1 and 2 in the Pac-10, UCLA first visiting Arizona. And that'll be at 4 o'clock Pacific time. And for you folks in the Mountain Time Zone, that'll be at 5 p.m. UCLA at Arizona. Jim Herrick against Lute Olson. Boy, they had smash-mouth basketball last year, the last time they met.
Yeah, 2 pretty good teams, so that should be an outstanding basketball game in Tucson where the Wildcats do not lose very often.
The 3-pointer for Don Munson's team hasn't been too big a factor. They are 2 of 17.
Now, I would say that's a big factor. 2 of 17 is going to win a lot of games.
I'm trying to be diplomatic here. Give me a break.
That was very diplomatic.
Well, at Stanford, they're 4 of 13, so it's not exactly been a major factor in this one.
Now the important thing is defensively, if you're the Oregon Ducks, if Stanford can get it in bounds. Oh, 5 seconds, they didn't.
Oregon ball. Wingate didn't call timeout in time.
Well, see, that's one of the reasons why coaches don't want to call timeouts down at the end of a game because he can't get it back in.
You make them think. 14 turnovers on Montgomery's team.
Big play.
Here it comes. They could tie it with a 3-pointer. Nixon or Brandon. Hammond right there waiting. Shot clock obviously dead. Leiden, will he be the hero?
Well, they're taking too much time. They need to get it up in a hurry.
See the time remaining. Brandon, no. Oregon gets the rebound. Brandon again with 13 seconds. Yeah, tie game. Tie game with 10 seconds remaining.
Can you believe it? They missed the first one. Brandon with the jumper.
We'll take a timeout. What are they? 3 of 19 from the 3-point circle.
Of all the world's car lines sold in this country, J.D. Power and Associates ranks only 1 American among the 10 most trouble-free. Buick. Before you put a new car in your garage, make sure it has one of these on the hood. The 1991 Buick Regal Sedan. Its powerful V6 engine gets an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon on the highway. And that's making the imports nervous.
Tired of freezing your buns off? Well, tonight you can get away to a tropical paradise.
Whew. Let's go to the show and have some laughs. Come on. Welcome to Key West. Yeah.
Take a break from the cold with America's top comedians.
I went down to the beach. I put on my blonde wig. People walking by. Hey, fella, you better turn over.
Join host Dave Thomas and special musical guest Kid Creole and the Coconuts for Comic Strip Live prime time from Key West tonight.
This is reminiscent of last year's Oregon victory over Stanford, 62-61.
Now, Brandon, an unbelievable shot in pressure situation, gets it down, and in good presence of mind by Oregon to call the timeout to set the defense. What an afternoon that Terrell Brandon has come up with, and he's got, by my unofficial statistics, 28 points. Mixon with 0 and Brandon with 28.
Brandon averaging 26 a game, so it's just another day at the office for that junior.
Need to get it up in a hurry, and Hammer almost turns it over.
Looking like overtime. Oregon ball.
Does turn it over.
4 seconds clicked off the clock. 6 seconds remaining. Mike Montgomery wants another timeout. Let's look at the turnover again, Dan.
Well, he didn't have a handle on it right from the start. Then Kenny Hammond tried. He never really could get the basketball, and it went off his leg. And really the disconcerting thing, if you're Mike Montgomery, is out-of-bounds plays in the last 30 seconds. One by Deshaun Wingate not being able to get the ball in bounds. And then that turnover has just really hurt Stanford. Oregon, unbelievable. You never would have thought it come back at 11 minutes to go in the first half. They were down as much as 14-15, got a chance to win it.
Like the classic mistake made by a wide receiver, Kenny Hammond wanted to run before he caught the ball. And in this case, it'll be costly, as Oregon will have 6 seconds to work with, and they'll be able to inbound on their end of the court. Again, reminiscent of last year, which was won by Oregon 62-61.
And I think Stanford has to play aggressive defensively and maybe try to turn the tables on Oregon in the sense that maybe they can create a 5-second count and not allow the Ducks to get the ball in bounds. I think if they come off and allow them to get it in, then anything obviously can happen, but you want to make sure that you're covering Brandon. If you're Mike Montgomery, let anybody beat you but Terrell Brandon. That's the one guy you do not want to have the ball.
Deny Brandon the ball. Let's see if they can do it.
Even to the point of almost sending a couple of players to him.
Brandon gets the pick, gets the ball, gets another pick. 4 seconds, 3. Gotta hurry, will it go? No, we've got overtime. Overtime in Eugene at 67 all.
Good defense that time by the Cardinal.
Don Munson with new life will play another 5 minutes. Munson against Montgomery. Great matchup here in Eugene.
On the road, the Infiniti Q45 becomes a living, breathing.
Protection, and with a plethora of ambrosial aromatics, it is virtually impossible to pick up the wrong scent. Well, off to the foxes. Right guard sports stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
When Don Munson sits down someday and talks to his grandchildren, he'll probably talk about a 17-1 run that he laid on Stanford in order to take it into overtime. Oregon outscored Stanford 33-17 in the final at 11.5 minutes. Brandon, by the way, unofficially with 25 points. Mixon still zip. 25.
Now I had him for 28, so I'm giving him more points.
All right.
I'm unofficial, right? You're the official scorekeeper.
Really unofficial. We'll jump it up. It'll be Wingate against Lucas. Willis McJunkin, the man. And the official throws it up, and now it is controlled by Stanford.
Well, nobody's sure which way anybody's going, except Blahoff. I mean, could you believe that? Everybody stood there and said, which way are we going?
It was like both teams had a green light. They weren't sure which way to go.
Blahoff knew. The Stanford guys, they know which way they're going.
Those three-point grade point averages are nice to have certain times. Brandon lays it up to Lucas. Keefe waiting for him. And we're back tied up in a bow knot at 69. Lucas with 16 points. Many of those in the second half. Foul on Mixon. Reaching in against Patrick. Been a well-officiated game today. Willis McJunkin, referee, along with Gordon Burke and Norm Baruki.
Now, Patrick was heading for trouble that time had that foul not been called, because Lucas was coming for the double team. Now, Patrick also a pretty good free throw shooter. Better than pretty good, actually. He and Ammon
really good.
Are not the people you want on the line if you're rooting for the Ducks.
A man who was born on leap year, 2/29/1968. John Patrick comes up with 2 from the line, and Stanford leads by 2. 4:19, 4:18. We're in overtime here in Eugene. Nixon to Brandon. Leiden. 3.
Well, Leiden's been the player of the game, especially in the second half. Since he has come in, he's the one that started the comeback and has made big shot after big shot to keep the Ducks in it and now give them the lead.
He scored 13 of his 15 points since intermission, Dan.
And of course, Stanford has had not much bench play from anybody, really. These 5 players on the floor have gone almost all the way and have contributed every point but 3, and that was a Peter Dukes jumper.
That's right. We saw Langmeyer just a little bit, Peter Dukes a bit, Brent Williams on occasion. Stanford by 1 rather, 73-72. Lucas back over to Leiden. Oh, they left him open, laid it out, trying to go to Lucas. Keith comes up with a steal.
Good anticipation that time by the veteran Adam Keefe, who stepped into passing lane.
Patrick will set it up on the right side with 3:10 remaining in overtime.
That's a kick.
Off the foot of Mixon.
Mixon's had an afternoon I know he'd love to forget in a hurry. I mean, he is, I don't think I can ever remember him going through a game and shooting and really not being involved. He got off to a bad start and has not scored.
Brunson has stayed with him, however. Lucas up in the air. Keith, little turnaround against Fife. Good defense by Bob Fife, and he gets the rebound. Great effort by Bob Fife, number 33. It's 6-11. Inside pass, Brandon to Lucas.
What a pass that time by Brandon.
18 for Richard Lucas.
He can do everything, can't he? I mean, Brandon is scorer supreme, can dish the ball off.
That's why he was player of the week in the Pac-10 as well. Came up with 63 points in 2 games. To the left, it's off. Lucas comes up with a loose ball, swatted by Keith. Oregon in the driver's seat, a 1-point lead with that much time to work with. Fife. Dangerous pass. Mixon. Leiden 3. No. Hammond. Knocked out of bounds. Let's see. That'll be Stanford ball. Brandon almost with a pick.
Well, since the crowd got into this game, it's just been a different story for the Oregon Ducks. I mean, they came alive with about 11 minutes to go left in the second half and have made a big difference and have really given the Ducks a lot of momentum.
Oregon, a fighting team. They gave Arkansas all they wanted earlier in the year.
Well, you said it, Don. This is a hard place to play if you're coming in. It's an old gym. I mean, the fans are exactly right on top of you, and it's difficult if you're an opposing team.
Wingate. Keith loses the ball out of bounds. Oregon ball. Boy, no lack of effort on the part of Adam Keefe, however.
Keefe has done a good job staying in the game with 4 personal fouls. He came back at about the 7-minute mark of the second half, and takes a lot of skill to play in foul trouble. And Mike Montgomery really didn't have any choice because the Ducks put a 17-1 run on him with Adam Keefe sitting on the bench, so he had to make that decision.
Mike Montgomery went through enough hot games and loud crowds in that Big Sky Conference before he came to Stanford after 8 years coaching the Grizzlies. Minute 26 remaining in overtime. Oregon by 1. Lucas, Mixon, Leiden. Back to Brandon. Got the open jumper. Yeah. 2 points. It'll be a 2-pointer. Oregon by 3. That puts the heat on Stanford with 1:07 remaining. Hammond.
Now it's imperative that Stanford keeps its composure and gets a good shot in the half court. Now, they cannot turn the ball over. It's important to get something good.
Willis McJunkin calls it Stanford ball. I'll tell you, the other official had to think about it for a while.
Now, Willis McJunkin, a veteran official. Everybody's uptight but him. He's saying, just relax, take it easy.
Big smile on his face, yeah. He's been around many, many years. Been through this 100 times. 47 seconds left. Patrick, three-point shot. Keefe is there with the stuff. No foul?
No foul.
Evidently not.
Finish it up, big guy, and bring it in.
Oregon still by a point, however. Oregon trying to sweep the Bay Area schools. They haven't done it since 1987. When I say sweep, I mean on their visits to Oregon. They beat California Thursday.
I think Stanford's got to make a quick decision here because the shot clock is off. They need to take a foul. They did.
They send Mixon to the line. Coming into this weekend's play, he's been money in the bank, hitting 25 of 26 free throws.
How ironic is it? Well, we're going to find out what kind of an afternoon it really is for Mixon because he hasn't scored a point. He's about a 95% free throw shooter.
Oregon by one. The final 20 seconds coming up after this.
To those import owners who said they would drive an American luxury car when they make one good enough, here's one that's much, much more than good enough. Test drive the 1991 Buick Park Avenue and see how good the great American beauty truly is. Park Avenue from Buick, the new symbol for quality in America and beyond.
You guessed it, Jill. Trout on a stick. Like all our new entrees, it's frugal, filling,
And convenient, too.
bravo.
Do you ever wonder if airline executives actually eat the food they serve you?
Croutons.
Not just croutons, Jill. Dipped in oil. Jumbo croutons. Takes up lots of room in salad, saving on costly lettuce. I like it.
At Alaska Airlines, our top executives eat our food twice a week because we won't ever serve you a meal we wouldn't enjoy ourselves.
Kevin Mixon will go to the line for Oregon. They have a 1-point lead, 20 seconds remaining. Mixon, a 96% free throw shooter. Ironically, he has not scored today, and he averages 15 per contest.
Don't think that's not going through his mind right now, stepping up to the free throw line.
Maybe he'll say, hey.
No, that's why Don Munson kept him in the game too, Don. I mean, if you go with the guys who brought you to the dance, and he's one of them. He shot that confidently.
Certainly did.
Now Stanford's got to readjust their thinking immediately because this puts them 3 down if Mixon can get this one in. So they've got to be thinking 3-point shot, and they only have 20 seconds to get it down.
Stanford wanting to put Peter Dukes in there, but they will wait till after the second shot. Got it. There's your 3-point lead that Dan talked about.
That barely went in. Rattled around that time.
Thank heavens for loose hoops.
Well, they're going to put 3 guards in the game. They got much better shooting, and they have to be thinking 3-pointer.
No
Patrick
question.
and Ammon are the guys.
Or go inside and hope somebody fouls a big guy going for the shot. Pat, oh, it's going to be Keefe. Tries to draw the foul, and he calls it on Fife.
Oh, is Keefe smart? Is he smart? Because
Fife still say, what did I do?
More importantly, though, Adam Keefe, presence of mind to draw the foul in the 3-point range so he gets 3 free throws.
You talk about presence on the court.
Not only that, but it's Fife's 5th foul. There's the jump in. Keefe got away with one of it. You could have said he jumped in, but you know, the play was too smart. Give him the 3 shots. I like it. I like it. Oh, boy.
Fife is done for the day with his 8 points. Dramatic improvement in Bob Fife's play over last year. This is the first time I've seen him since last season. Mike Montgomery has one mighty intelligent center in Adam Keefe. 7 seconds remaining. He's able to get Fife up in the air, and Keefe is able to draw the foul.
Yeah, it's still no cup of tea, though, from here on in, because he needs, obviously, to make all 3 shots, and he's a 77% free throw shooter, so a lot of pressure on the redhead.
That crowd behind the board now. Look at
that. I like like it. He's saying that they're shaking the backboard.
There they are.
Now, see, now only a veteran could get away with that. I mean, drop the ball and tell the official the backboard's shaking.
It's not moving now, is it?
Well, it moves because everybody's jumping up and down. Now, can you imagine telling the fans you can't jump up and down?
Oh, my.
Now, they're going to jump more.
There goes the backboard.
Now, look at that backboard. It's visibly...
Oh, it's wiggling.
Moving. Look at this.
Oh, this will get all the way down to the Pac-10 office.
Timeout by Oregon. They want to discuss all the possibilities now. Oh. And this timeout really might help Stanford because they may look to miss intentionally. 2 free throws with 7 seconds if you're down 1 may not help you a lot. In fact, won't. So Stanford has to be debating at this point in the game. I think they have to look to make 1 and then miss the second intentionally.
Now, wait a minute. You coach at the college level. What would you do if you saw that hoop moving back and forth and they made you shoot?
I don't think there's much you can do about it because what are you going to say? Are you going to tell the people they can't jump up and down? I mean, as an official, you cannot stop the fans from clapping and moving. And they weren't shaking the board. They were jumping on the floor, and the floor was causing the board to move.
Will there have to be an asterisk put next to the final score if Oregon wins?
Well, we said the home court was worth 4 or 5 points, didn't we, Don? Well, that's what it is right there. It's worth 4 or 5 points.
Well, it certainly worked for 1 so far.
Now it's a question now of whether Keith can make a free throw. This one, in my mind, is the vital free throw because that puts him down 2. Then you look to miss intentionally, and when you miss intentionally, you have to hit the rim.
Right.
So if you slam it off the backboard and you do not hit the rim, that constitutes a violation, and the other team gets the ball.
Right.
So you have to jam it against the rim and hope that you knock it out in order to get a 3-point attempt.
Seems somewhat ironic, however. This is a brand new floor that they're playing on from the Goodwill games up in Seattle, and yet we're having problems like this. If this was the old floor, I'd say, yeah, you could expect it. You can bet the engineers will be out here this week trying to figure out how to handle that.
Yeah, well, Stanford has a similar situation, Don, with their floor because their floor is just as vibrant as this one. All right, that was the important one. Now, I believe that you may see Stanford slam it against the rim. See if he misses intentionally on this.
It would make sense.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't. I am surprised.
Ah, me too.
I am surprised.
There's the quick foul by Patrick on Terrell Brandon. Don't know if that's the guy you want to foul.
Well, no choice.
6 seconds,
no choice at that point in the game. And Stanford did do a very smart thing there. Only 1 second elapsed off the clock, and they picked up the foul. So they accomplished that part of the job. Now, even if Brandon makes both free throws, then still a 3-point shot is available to the Cardinal with not much time left.
Brandon is 3 for 5 from the foul line today. Going into the weekend, averaging around 88%.
See, the one thing that Don, he is a pretty good free throw shooter, but the one thing that I like about the 3 foul shots on a 3-point shot is now you can't take intentional fouls in the backcourt, as some coaches did. Now, in this case, last year, if Oregon was up 3 and with only 5 or 6 seconds, you may want to take a foul in the backcourt, go for the ball, and have the other team shoot a one-on-one. Now, if you take a foul and the guy looks to shoot it from deep range, he goes to the line and takes a 3 attempts. Over now.
That's it. That'll do it. Brandon fouled, 2 seconds remaining. Oh, what a rebound. And what a possession for Oregon. And Mike Montgomery, again, reminiscent of last year, is looking at a very close loss.
Yeah,
right now.
heartbreaking defeat for Stanford. There's the miss and the tap out actually on the outside by Jordan. Yeah, that's right. Jordan tapped the ball back out, and Oregon with a chance to put this one away.
Jordan was really, I guess you could say, the GOAT earlier because Stanford dared him to shoot from the outside. He was unable to, and yet he comes up with some justification there. He's got to feel better, able to knock the ball back and enable Oregon to hold on to the ball.
Now, Oregon had 23 points at halftime. I mean, I'd say they had a pretty good second half at overtime. They had 80. I mean, they had 23 in the first half. Points. Good timeout by Mike Montgomery, still coaching, still feels that if he can somehow get some kind of a shot to tie, you know, you want to give your team every opportunity down 3. But this is going to be just a gut-wrenching defeat for the Carmen. They had this game won. I mean, they're up 14, 15 points with 11:33 to play.
17.
17 at one time.
Half. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Well, if you like this game, we've got more for you next weekend, and it won't get any easier for these Oregon Ducks. They have got to go into Corvallis to take on the Oregon State Beavers. Coach Jimmy Anderson, that'll be at 2 o'clock Pacific, and then UCLA will go in to take on the Wildcats of Lute Olson in Arizona at 4 o'clock Pacific time, 5 Mountain. And be sure to check your local listings. That'll be a great game.
It should be a great game. This is the first time, Don, in a long time that I've been covering Pac-10 basketball that I can remember the parity in the league. It has risen where not only you have 1 or 2 good teams, but every time you go on the road, it will seem this year you have a difficult game on your hands, illustrated by the fact that the Washington Huskies defeated the Wildcats of Arizona. I mean, who would have thought that could be possible? Yet every program in the league, the bottom teams have elevated their programs.
That you can tell by virtue of their non-conference records. And Brandon goes to the line. That'll do it.
Academic from this point.
Not a bad idea, though, as they tried to go to Hammond. In overtime, Don Munson comes up with another victory. He is now 4-6 against Montgomery of Stanford. Final score, Oregon defeating Stanford 81-77. Today's game has been brought to you by Infinity, by True Value Hardware, by Alaska Airlines, and by Buick. Once again, don't forget about the 2 games coming up next week. Oregon at Oregon State, 2 o'clock Pacific time, and then UCLA into Tucson to take on Arizona at 4 o'clock Pacific. This has been a copyrighted presentation of the University of Oregon.
Annie, they said, let's talk about Pop's secret love.